Useless talent.
Useless talent.
Hello, I'm Chris Noosh, and this is Paige.
Yeah.
And this is a Noosh Extras, and I'm going to call this one 5 Questions. And I have prepared, I will be honest with you, I have prepared 5 questions for Paige to ask me. So I picked them. I told Paige if she wanted to change any of them, that she could, and she could ask me any 5 questions she wanted. But she was like, no, these are good questions.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
So in any order, go ahead and ask your questions.
All right.
Well, my questions.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you your questions.
Yeah, thank you for asking me my questions.
You're welcome. So, what do all those numbers mean at the bottom of your prints?
All right, so you decided to start with the most boring one. Great.
Get it out of the way.
Get
Why
the
not?
boring question out of the way. This is something I was asked recently, and printmaking is confusing, and so I thought I should explain it. At the bottom of a print, you'll see I sign my name. I title the print, and then in the middle, sometimes you'll see a series of numbers. Usually, it's going to be like 2/25. And that means that that's the second print out of 25 total prints. That's all that means. So if it says 1/15, that means it's the first print out of 15 prints. The first number is the number of print it is in the edition, and the second number is the total size of the edition. Pretty simple. Sometimes you'll see letters written there. AP means artist print, and that's usually about, there's not really a set rule on this, but about 10% of the editions are artist prints. So if you have an edition of 20, there's usually maybe about two artist prints. And artist proofs, artist prints, those come from like a really long time ago when the artist would design a print and the printer would print the print, and the artist and the printer weren't the same person. So the printer would sell the edition based on the agreed upon thing that the artist and the printer came up with, and then the printer would give the artist a handful of prints that the artist could sell all by themselves and just keep the money from those, or just keep and give it to people as gifts. Whatever they wanted to do with it, they could do it with it. And that's the history of the artist print, the artist proof. That's kind of where it came from. But today, if I have 27 good prints, I'll take 2 of those prints. So I can write 2/25, and it looks better than 2/27. That's what the artist print is. Sometimes there's one more. Sometimes you'll see VE, and that means variable edition. A variable edition just means that you're purposely making the prints look different from each one. Sometimes you use a blue ink, a yellow ink. I don't know. There's many different reasons that you can make them look different. Variable edition just means you're doing something that's not necessarily repeatable, and all the prints kind of look different.
Interesting. I've never heard of the variable edition part before, so that was new to me.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready for your second question?
Second question.
What is the craziest thing one of your teachers has done?
All right, I see this may be interesting because I don't know if I've even told you this, so it'll be a fun story to bounce off of you.
Yeah, get a teacher's perspective from what your teacher did.
I don't think you're going to have any perspective on this one. So actually, it's funny. Paige just got home from work, and she was telling me about how all the kindergartners wanted to go to the bathroom, and this one ties kind of into that. It was in 7th, not me personally. This doesn't have to do with me. It's something I experienced a teacher do. But I was in 7th grade, and there was a student in the class, another 7th grader, who needed to use the restroom. It was 7th grade science. And the teacher, should I give the name of the teacher? Out him?
No, don't do
give
that.
the name?
Yeah.
All right. The teacher, I won't give the name. He was very, very eccentric. He had a lot of specimens in the class. He had things in jars, things in bags, like animals, leaves, bugs. He had a human femur, and I don't even know if that was real. It looked very real to me, but he had a human femur that he used as the bathroom pass.
I hope it wasn't real. Can you imagine your femur becoming a bathroom pass?
I don't know. So one of the kids, and I'm not going to give this kid's name either, but he asked to use the restroom, And I think he was like the second or third person that day to ask to use the restroom, and the teacher was just fed up with it. So the teacher grabbed Teacher X. I'll call it Teacher X.
Teacher X.
Teacher X grabbed it was a mole in a bag. Like a mole in a Ziploc bag.
Like the animal?
Like a dead mole in a Ziploc bag, and threw it at student X. And told them to like go to the principal's office. So that's the craziest thing that I've seen a teacher do, is throw a dead mole at a student.
I feel like I would get fired if I did that at work.
How does that answer that question?
That's pretty good, because I was sitting here and as you were telling the story, I was listening and trying to think of the craziest thing like I saw a teacher ever do. And it was like a teacher, I think I was in like 7th or 8th grade. They got so mad at their class, like they stood on a desk to like yell at the class, but then they fell off the desk into their trash can.
That's pretty good too.
Yeah. They couldn't live that down. I think it's more like embarrassing, like for the teacher.
Because then you just become trash teacher.
Then crazy, but yeah, he had a big rolling trash can in his room.
Did he get a nickname after that?
I can't remember if he did. Probably. Like we were all talking about it. Like even if you didn't have him, like you knew.
He's still this is what 20 years later, still the trash teacher.
Yeah, he's still the guy who fell in the trash.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was great.
Moving on.
Why don't you just use a printer for your prints?
I know this is very confusing. This is a comment that I've gotten on my posts twice in the past week, and my hand-pulled prints just look better. Also, hand-pulled prints have the hand of the artist that touched it, and I'm not saying anything negative about digital art and people who do what I would call Control P prints. That's the buttons you press when you print things on a computer, Control P.
Nice.
Nothing against that, that has its place. But for me as a printmaker, I'm able to print my own prints. I'm able to put ink on a block and use a press to put the ink on the paper. And it's more interesting to me. I personally like it more, and I can make my own prints. I don't need to go to Control P. It's just more interesting, more fun, and it works with the process that I enjoy. So the answer is because I don't want to just use a printer.
Yeah, it's different.
Because I am a printer.
You are a printer. He's a human printer.
Human printer. So
yeah.
That's the reason. I like it better. And there are people who appreciate it, and there's people who appreciate digital art, and I appreciate digital art too for what it is.
Yeah.
But I appreciate printmaking more.
Yeah, different mediums, different styles, different vibes. Segueing into that is, what's the dumbest way you've been injured?
The dumbest way. Okay, I think this is the dumbest way. If you can think of a dumber way that I've been injured since you've known me, you can go tell me this is not the dumbest way.
You haven't really gotten hurt since I've known you.
Another high school story. When I was in 9th grade, I dislocated my shoulder. What? No, this one. It's this one. The right shoulder. And throughout my history, I've dislocated that shoulder 3 times. The third time that I dislocated that shoulder, I was sleeping. And so it was President's Day. I was off from school. And I woke up around 7 o'clock, and I just kind of gave like one of these stretches, and the arm came out. That is the dumbest way I've ever been injured.
That's pretty
bad. The second one isn't much better. The second time I injured it, I was playing catch with my cousins that were like 6 at the time, and I was like underhand throwing a football, maybe even just like slight throwing like that. Pop, fell right out again.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. So that's my shoulder's the dumbest way. Just fell right out.
Yeah. I jammed my finger pretty bad doing head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So I used to be a children's librarian.
That's pretty dumb.
And during story time, I went way too fast doing head, shoulders, knees, and toes and slammed my finger down into a hard rubber floor and thought I broke it. Yeah. Good job. Now almost break your finger doing that.
I'm not going to do that.
All right. And so this is the last question, and I think this is the most interesting of the 5.
All right.
What's your most useless talent?
All right. So you know what's coming.
Oh, Lord.
Did you think there was going to be anything else?
I mean, you could have surprised me, but
No.
I have a feeling that B is also going to show his most useless talent, if it's what I'm thinking of.
It is. So my most useless talent is that I can hand whistle. I can turn my hands into an ocarina. So
all right.
I'm gonna try to not get B to react. Do you have any? Which song would you like to request?
Oh, you pick one and I'll guess.
Okay.
See how good you are.
Oh. Hold up. We gotta put B away. All right, B's away, and if I didn't do that, then he was just gonna sing over me, and you wouldn't enjoy my most useless talent. Useless talent.
Useless talent.
It's hard to say. Deep breath.
You ready? You're warmed up?
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, that was bad. All right, let's start over.
Oh, it was Can You Feel the Love Tonight, though? Wasn't it going to be that?
It was going to be that.
My useless talent
is that was bad. Let me see. I really like that one, though.
Then try it again.
It was okay.
It's pretty good. I still think it's recognizable as Can You Feel the Love Tonight from the Lion King.
I am frequently asked. The last birthday party that I attended, family party, they asked me to do the hand whistle, so I did. Yeah. That's my most useless talent.
Nice.
So, and that was 5 questions with me and Paige. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this instead of the normal vlog this week. But I'll see y'all next week. I took a little bit of a break and it was nice, but I'm ready to get back to work next week. So thanks for watching. See y'all later and bye. Say bye.
Bye.
There you go. Bye.